Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with another video. Does it look crooked? Does the video look crooked? It just bothers me. I don't know why it always looks crooked. Let's see. It just looks crooked. Does it look crooked? Maybe the wall's crooked. Maybe I just hang everything on the wall crooked. Anyway, you didn't come here for that. Whew, I don't know about where you are, but it's hotter than a fat man riding a unicycle. Man, especially up here in the junk room, it's extra hot. Anyway, that's not what this video is about, but it's more of a confession video. We're going to go back to the 80s, and I guess this is considered one of my story time videos, because I'm going to tell you about something I did, something I don't think I've ever told anyone. I'm not proud of it. Maybe at the time I was, but I'm not now. But maybe it's justified also. But let's start with my love for HeMan, Masters of the Universe. Now, let's set this up. As you all know, I was into Star Wars, of course. Bought my first Star Wars figure in 1978 and didn't look back. And I was always the type of kid, I was into one thing. Star Wars was my toy, so I didn't buy G.I. Joe, I didn't buy Transformers, I didn't buy anything else. Star Wars is what I wanted. Star Wars is what I got. I got money, went to the store, I was getting Star Wars. Now, there was a few toys here and there, of course. Birthday present, someone gave me a G.I. Joe on a motorcycle. I think I got a present of a Transformer that turned into a gun. And I got some other things here and there. Of course, I didn't have just Star Wars toys, but my main focus when I went to the store was Star Wars. And this is something I guess is continued to this day. I mean, even in the late 80s, I started buying Nintendo, and then I got a Super. And I got all the Nintendos except for the latest one, because I don't really play video games anymore. And after I got the Wii, the Wii U, after I played it for like a month and never played it again, I figured, I think I'm done with video game systems. I'm probably not going to buy any more. But even to this day, it seems like once I get a product, I'm loyal to that product. I was like, that's my thing. So Star Wars was my jam. And I can remember sitting on the school bus, and this one kid came walking on the school bus. I can remember it was around the first of the school year, and he was proud, had some new clothes. You could always tell the kids that got summer clothes or back to school clothes, because they always came back with the nicest clothes and the shiniest, whitest shoes, and a members only jacket. I didn't have a members only jacket. I had one that looked like a members only jacket, but it said Rustler on it. You know, Rustler's is made by the Wrangler Company. It's the cheaper brand of Wranglers. The cheaper brand of Wranglers. That should tell you something right there. But anyway, I can remember him walking on the bus. I can still see it in my head. He had a sweatshirt on, which is September in the South, so I don't know why he had a sweatshirt on. But it had HeMan on it. And if I remember right, it was HeMan. I don't know what he was doing. I just remember HeMan was on it. I remember a Skeletor, I think, was on it, because I remember Skeleton. I was like, what is that? And probably Castle Grayskull. Anyway, it was a He-Man shirt. If I can find it, I'll put a picture up, but I probably can't, because you know how memories are. I'll be like, that's not the one I remember. One I probably off a little bit. But anyway, came on there with He-Man. I didn't really know this kid. I knew this kid from the bus. He was probably a grade higher than me, and this was probably the beginning of school year 1983. And my first thought was, of course, what? Don't he know? Return of the Jedi is still in theaters? What's he doing wearing this pop culture icon shirt for something I never even heard of? And I was probably sitting on the bus with my Star Wars lunchbox and my Star Wars Return of the Jedi shirt and everything, showing off my new back to school stuff also. But I can remember that. I didn't know what it was. That's what's so odd. I didn't remember what it was, and I had a friend named Boyd. You heard me talk about him before. And I even asked him. I said, man, I don't remember this kid's name. We're going to call him Jimmy for the story, because I like saying Jimmy. And I was like, what's on his shirt? Did he go out of the country for the summer or something? What is that? And my Boyd was a little dumbfounded. He was a little surprised also. It was like, Junk friend, that's He-Man? What is this He-Man you speak of? I didn't know what He-Man was. Never heard of it again. I went to see Return of the Jedi like this at the theater. And then all throughout the summer, I was like, Return of the Jedi, greatest film ever, Return of the Jedi. So I just locked everything away from that. Boyd explained to me that it was a cartoon series. And I was like, cartoon series? I was like, okay, I know I'm into Star Wars, but every Saturday I wake up, get me a bowl of Fruity Pebbles or Cocoa Pebbles, and I'll watch a couple of cartoons. You know, I'll watch the Chickmas cartoons, I have to watch Smurfs, watch the Rubik's Cube cartoon, even watched the Cubert cartoon once. So I knew about cartoons. So I asked, boy, I was like, what? Cartoon? I said, what's it come on, PBS or something? Is it some kind of educational stuff? Because I ain't watching no educational cartoon. I not even watch educational live action if I can help it. And he was like, no, man, it's a cartoon. I was like, I know all the cartoons on Saturday. You're not, unless it comes on, it's new, maybe it comes on at the same time, you know, one other cartoon I watch comes on. But he's like, no, man, it comes on every day after school. Don't you watch? It comes on at 4 o'clock after school. We get, after the bus ride home, we get home about 3:30. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of this whatsoever. So he started to fill me in, and I still couldn't believe it. I said, why would somebody watch a cartoon when these cartoons are on Saturday? Who watches a cartoon on the afternoons after school? That's when you go in the woods and work on your fort that you never get through building. For some reason you can never find nails. You have to take nails out of other pieces of wood and everything. The fort never gets complete. There's always work to be done on the fort because the fort is never over. But anyway, I guess it was a couple of days later, or maybe weeks later, I was at home, and I said, you know, I'm going to see what this is all about. Now, we had before HeMan came on, they would have something we call the Gerbil Derby. It was where you would have 3 gerbils, and they would race. Some local host would, I think his name was Peacock. Russ is going to kill me if I don't remember his name. Don Peacock. He was dressed like a cowboy, and I'm forgetting his name. But anyway, it's like a local guy, and he would do the Gerbil Derby. And anyway, I watched the Gerbil Derby, and I remember one of the gerbils, each one had a different, usually it was main prime time. There were like B.A. Baracus, and then something from Miami Vice or something. But I remember one of the gerbils was named Men at Arms, and I didn't know what that was. I was like, well, I know everything. What is that? So I watched the Gerbil Derby, and then after that, here comes HeMan. Poof. Oh, HeMan. Here he comes. I finally saw HeMan. Here he comes with his blonde hair, his little bob haircut. And I was ready to hate. I was like, man, this is some corny stuff, man. This is horrible. And I was like, what is this? I was just judging the show because as a kid, I didn't like had a shirt on. And I didn't understand why he didn't have a Return of the Jedi shirt. Why would you have a pop culture related shirt and not Return of the Jedi? I didn't understand it at all. Anyway, so I saw HeMan. I was like, there we go. There's HeMan. And I sat there and I watched it, and I was like, okay, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. I thought it was going to be bad. I was like, I guess it's something to watch when I'm not thinking Star Wars or talking about Star Wars or playing Star Wars. So, you know, got to have some free time. I do watch some other things. And then over a couple of weeks, I just kept watching it. And then I guess it was about a week or two, maybe not even that long, I kind of faded out. And I forgot about the kid's shirt. I forgot about HeMan. And it was over. I was back to my Saturday cartoons. After school, I was out in the woods or something. I wasn't watching cartoons. And HeMan was out of my mind. Didn't see the shirt anymore. Then came Christmas, 1983. And I thought, oh, I'm finna get me a lot of Star Wars stuff. But the problem was I had all the Star Wars toys. Or at least most of them. So what was going to be the big present that year? That Santa Claus was going to leave me. That's right. I was 11 years old. And I think I believed in Santa Claus. But I think that's about the year I stopped, or the year, you know, there's always, you believe in Santa Claus, and then there's a few years where you're like, yeah, I believe him, but you really didn't believe him. You just didn't want to say you didn't believe him because then you might not get no presents anymore. So 1983, came down out of the tree, opened up the presents, and I got a Castle Grayskull. I got every figure released by 1983 standards, Series 1 probably. And I loved it. I remember I got 2 different birds. I mean, I got 2 of the good birds. There was a bad bird and a good bird, but I got 2 of the same bird. And I can remember going, ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. I think I even seen a video one time me playing with that. I loved it. I loved the HeMan. I had the trap door on the Castle Grayskull. I had everything. Well, I didn't have everything. I didn't have Tila. I never had Tila. I'm not buying no girl action figure. Not even going to let a parent buy me that. I didn't ask for HeMan. It was just surprised on me. But then I fell in love. And be honest with me, and be honest with you, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, I don't think I bought any more Star Wars toys after that Christmas. Yep, Star Wars was fading memory. I had moved on. I had graduated from Kenner Star Wars figures to a new line of figures of grown men with muscles, showing their nipples, wearing fuzzy underwear, something I still love today. So there's how I fell in love with He-Man. And as I was getting older, I played with He-Man for a while. And I think I got out of He-Man around season 5, series 5. I think that was around 1985. I looked at series 5 and I was like, I don't remember any of those figures at all. So I think series 4 is when I checked out, where I was like, okay, I'm done with toys. I'm going to go try to give a girl a hickey, because I saw on Who's the Boss Samantha get one, and I was like, I don't know what that is. But if Samantha's get one, then whoever she's dating's cool, and I'm cool, so I want to be hip also. Anyway, that's a whole different video right there. So, let's go back to probably Series 3. Let me check if that's I made a note here. Series 3. Yep, 1984. Series 3. I got back on the school bus, and there was that kid again. Now, here it was. I was a year, maybe 2 years in the season 3. I was into He-Man. I was full blown. I had Snake Mountain. I had Castle Grayskull, of course. I had that little Hordak thing. Maybe at this time, I don't know. But this time I had the Hordak puppet. I had all of them. And here it was. He was on the bus with his He-Man action figures. But I was upset once again. Because he had a He-Man and Skeletor I never saw. I was like, has this kid been over to Europe once again? What is going on? I got He-Man. I got He-Man and Skeletor in season 1. Who is this guy got? Well, he had a He-Man, and on his chest, you could flip it with your finger or the sword or whatever, and it would show a scratch on his chest. Flip it again, 2 scratches. Flip it again, back to normal. What was this shit? That's just what came through my head. What was this shit? Even as a kid. Let me see what year season 3 was. I know I should have wrote that down. I'm sorry, guys. Season 3, 1984. So I was just a year into He-Man here. 1984. It's probably the end of the 84 year when these came out. But, I thought I knew He-Man. I watched the cartoon. I've never seen He-Man wear that on the cartoon. I never saw Skeletor wear that on the cartoon. That right there upset me. I said, why are they making toys not based on something from the cartoon? And I know what you're going to say in the comment section. Well, they made toys based on the comic books and blah, 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 blah. I didn't care. If it wasn't on the cartoon, I didn't want it. And I couldn't believe a kid came out of my school bus playing with a He-Man and Skeletor unrelated to the cartoon series. Just upset me. It upset me, I tell you. And even at this time, 4 years old, I was 12 maybe, or going on 12. Even at this time, I knew it was a gimmick. I can remember thinking that when I saw these. They're just trying to get people to buy more He-Man and Skeletor. We bought it 2 years ago. We're not buying He-Man again. Or I guess about a year ago. I'm not buying He-Man again. They're not fooling me. I'm not wasting my money on something I already have because you got a chest plate. It goes blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing it. But it bugged me. I can remember thinking, why does this kid have He-Man and Skeletor, the wrong ones? Well, this kid was a grade higher than me. I think I said that. And every once in a while, all the classes would come together. Let's say 3rd grade to 5th grade would play together, or 4th grade to 6th grade. We would go out to the back of the schoolhouse and play kickball, or maybe they would bring the parachute out that day. It was something big event where it wasn't just normal recess. Recess was usually the same class. But this was something where it brought about 3 classes together. Who knows? Maybe it was field day. I'm not really sure. I can't remember details like that because my mind was obsessed with this stupid He-Man and Skeletor toy. So they went out there playing with their toys, and there I was. I can remember going back into the classroom by myself. Why? Why did I go to the classroom by myself? Well, I told the teacher that I forgot my shoehorn. But really, I didn't. I didn't have a shoehorn with me that day. I know my grandpa used to tell me, always have a shoehorn in your back pocket. But I didn't have a shoehorn that day. It was my excuse to get back in. And my excuse to get in there was, believe it or not, to steal some gummy sticky stuff. I don't know what it was. It was something they hung posters up in class with that was like gum. You stick them on the back of the poster and they would stick to the wall, putty-like stuff. And I was obsessed with stealing this putty and making a putty ball. I had it hidden in my book bag, a big old putty ball. Now, years later, I would steal the little pegs off the bottom of chairs. I don't know why. I was just a weird kid. Well, I'm a weird adult. So anyway, I said, I'll sneak back in there and get some more of that putty because he just hung up a cat poster that says, hang in there, Mondays are tough. And I was going to steal the bottom corner of it to add to my ball. I can't believe I'm confessing this. So I got in there and I started looking around and I thought, where does she keep this putty at? Where's her putty? If I could take all her putty, I can have the biggest putty ball of them all. And then my arch nemesis, John Gorman, he's going to be so jealous. He will rule. He'll be like, that junk kid, he got the biggest mud ball ever. But I couldn't find it. I didn't want to stoop through her desk or anything. But I was over by the cubby holes. We had this little, kind of like this thing back here with holes in it. We call them a cubby hole. You put your stuff there. I don't know why. Probably my Return of the Jedi lunchbox, some other stuff. And there it was. Inside that cubby hole was HeMan and Skeletor. The one that this kid had. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my luck. So I said, let me look at these and see what these are. So I pulled them out. Got the HeMan. Flipped the chest up. Stupid. What? It's not on the cartoon. I watch the cartoon every day. I knew it wasn't on the cartoon. Got the other one. Stupid. So I'll tell you what I did. I don't think I've ever told anyone this. I don't think my best friend Boyd, I never told him. Russ, who I do a live stream with, who's been my friend since the early 90s, I don't think I ever told him. I don't think I ever told anyone. No one knows this. Except for me, the man above, probably the man downstairs. No, not my landlord. And now you. I took those figures, both of them, smashed them down on the floor as hard as I could, and then, with my kangaroo pocket shoe, stomped on them hard as I could. Now, I want to tell you that they cracked into 1,000,000 pieces, but we're talking about a 90-pound 13-year-old, so, or not even 13 yet, probably, or going on. I don't know. You don't care about all that, but I stepped on it, crushed it. It did crack it. Didn't break it into 1,000,000 pieces, but at least for the Skeletor, it wouldn't roll anymore. I don't know what I'm doing like I got boobies. It wouldn't roll anymore. And I was proud of myself. It's like, you don't come to my school bringing HeMan toys not related to the cartoon. I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I was so upset. Threw them back in the cubby hole. Got my putty stuff that I wanted so bad. I don't know why I wanted that putty stuff. Headed back out into the yard to play parachute, tag, kickball, whatever we were playing that day. I'm not sure. Maybe we were beating an old car with a shoe. We used to like to beat old cars. I don't know. Every once a year we would beat an old car with a shoe. It was great. They'd bring a car up there, didn't have any glass in it. We'd just beat it with a shoe. It wasn't our own shoe. We weren't allowed to use our own shoe. Had to be a shoe that the lunch lady brought. That's a whole other story there also. But I broke these HeMan figures. I can remember on the bus ride home. There he was, and Jimmy wasn't too happy. And I can hear him in the back of the bus saying someone broke his Skeletor. Now, his HeMan was scratched up, but I guess he didn't care about that. He was worried about his HeMan. But inside, I was like, we'll teach that kid. Bringing non-cartoon HeMan stuff to school. I don't know why it bugged me so much. And even to this day, and I even forgot about this story, and I can remember in the 90s when I was getting back into HeMan, I can remember then thinking, I hate that. It's just a gimmick. I just hate it because it was gimmick and it wasn't on the cartoon. And then I was like, oh man. And then that memory slowly started coming back. And I was like, man, I was an asshole. That was an asshole move. And I felt bad for that. Once I remembered it, I felt bad for it. But is it really my fault? I mean, they're stupid looking figures. And I didn't even know a few years later they redid HeMan again where you could put snaps in his back. And, you know, like a cap gun, caps in his back. That would have been even worse. But I wanted to share this. It's not a really good story. I don't have any outcome. I didn't learn my lesson at the end of it. Jimmy didn't learn his lesson. He come up to me on the school bus and said, thank you, junk kid. I'll never buy HeMan toys unrelated to the cartoon again. I wish that happened in my mind, but it didn't happen. But I just wanted to confess this story and kind of talk. I know I do a lot of talk about my growing up with Star Wars, and I haven't really touched on this subject. So go ahead and tell them in the comments. Say, Junkman, you're my hero. I would have done the same if I had like a honies. Well, anyway, that's my story of HeMan. and Masters of the Universe. Well, I want to thank you for watching. Thumb us on my content. Subscribe to the channel. We'll talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.